What's up, y'all? It is Dear White People, Season 2, Episode 3 and 4. We're going to break down Coco's big decision, and Lionel's trying to figure out what's really going on with him. It's all coming up next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I love you. Step down, they don't love you like I love you. Can't you see there's no other man?
What are you doing?
What a wicked way to treat the girl that loves you.
Okay, we got club lights.
Isn't that how you do it?
Wow. There's something about certain songs of Beyonce. It just
Get it, Nate.
It's the
Get it,
wrong
Nate.
song, Nate.
Get it, Nate.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know dances were song
If he's feeling it,
exclusive.
Yeah, they are.
Expression of
Okay.
his soul.
Yeah. Let me do my Queen Bee thing, okay?
Wow. Well, welcome back, guys. We're gonna be covering episode 3 and 4. We have, some changes, some additions, all that good stuff. So right beside me, we have Mr. Nate Miller, a host for Westworld, and he also has a game show called Inventory Full. And then we have joining us Keith Andre. So he does after shows for This Is Us and For the People, and returning
Yes.
with the fro.
Yes, it's me,
Yes.
Ivanna.
Ivanna Williams, you do Star for does a Star after show, and we have a very, 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 very special guest because that's just how we do.
Yes.
She plays Muffy from Dear White People.
Yes.
Caitlin Carver.
Welcome. And
The outfit though, I'm feeling the outfit.
Thank you. You too.
Very, very eclectic. So we are here. We have a lot to cover, but we're gonna just go back and forth. Let's kind of tackle Coco's episode because you had a lot to do in Coco's episode. So Coco. So we'll just kind of break it down for you guys. So Coco finds out she's pregnant. The scene with Kelsey is absolutely amazing. She finds out she's pregnant, and she doesn't know what she's going to do. In the midst of that, however, she has a couple decisions to make, but she's also trying to get into Pegasus, which enters Muffy.
Yes.
And they go into all of that. And kind of tell us about the scenes that you guys were doing together, as far as your acting scenes and then the friendship that you guys developed.
Yeah, I was just talking about this. It was really nice because in season 1, we're kind of new to the school and to our friendship. And Antoinette and I, Antoinette plays Coco, of course, we were kind of like developing our friendship in real life as well. So for Muffy and Coco to become such good friends and try to, succeed at the school and be on the top of everything and get into Pegasus, it felt like super parallel with our own lives, which was really, really cool. I'm trying to think of the scenes that we shot in this episode.
Well, you had the one
where I show up and I have all the questions, like my white friend questions for her. That was hilarious. We actually improv'd a lot of that. Mm-hmm. So she was helping me with things that white people, stupid questions that white girls ask her. So that was a lot of fun to do.
But it was a kind of a good play too, because you were almost like the in between. So it's like you kind of knew most of the answers, but you're kind of telling her, okay, this is the situation. And you're kind of almost like a vice president of some sorts.
Right.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I liked how she was like, since when did I become, I forget the words, like.
The go-to, basically.
Yeah, the go-to. And I'm like, since you very consciously seized on the opportunity to maintain a cult following of white girls. I remember that line because I was like, this is great.
It's a very honest answer.
Yeah. Right?
So, essentially, so she's kind of in that position of power. She decides that she tells Troy that he can no longer. She pretty much tells him, you need to quit core, and she kind of becomes the vice president for that. Then she kind of finds out she's pregnant in the midst of having exams. She's getting into Pegasus. She's trying to get in Pegasus. She's the White Whisperer, and she's dealing with all these kind of issues. So there's just really too much to kind of tackle. So she finds out that she's pregnant. Kelsey's there with her. What's your kind of, what do you guys think when that happens?
Well, I mean, whenever it turned into the sequence of her like growing old and all this stuff, I'm like, okay, this is a dream. Like that's what let me know, or it's just like a thought of the what ifs. Basically, it became that kind of sequence, and I see that also on the other show Star that I'm on too, which was ironic. So I was able to pick out. I'm like, this isn't really happening. Like this is not the choice she makes, but they're just exploring what if she did keep the baby, and I appreciate both aspects because I think a lot of women do think of that. They think of what if I go through with the abortion and what if I don't? What would my life look like?
Yeah, I think it's an important decision as well. And it was good to see Coco in a different light. And I think she's a character you would naturally think would be in that predicament to have to cross that bridge and look at it that way. So I did enjoy seeing her what if moment as well as her, well, what if I stay true to myself? Because that's the character that we know her to be. So for a second, I was interested in like, wow, she's really going to like do this and have this baby and leave school. And they were like, no.
Yeah.
I love
like,
the
don't do-
line that
don't
she
do
had
Coco like that.
about, she's like, I'm not a sexy robot, you know.
Yeah.
It was very humanizing for her because
sure.
she, especially with season 1 and, you know, what the little we saw of her in this season already, she does maintain that image of like the Little Miss Perfect. So to see her, you know,
Make us stumble.
yeah, to fall into something that it could happen to anybody. And also for me, this episode was very interesting, eye-opening. Like it's something that's very hard for me to relate to. I can't get pregnant accidentally. I could, you know, knock somebody up, but I physically can't get pregnant and then have to make the decision about, okay, follow my train of thought here. Okay. It's something that it's hard for me to understand. And so to be able to see it right and to see her talking through it and thinking about it was powerful. It was very interesting for me. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I think out of all the main characters, picking her was the best one because if you picked Sam, I tend to think she would have just, you know, there would be no other option. Like, I mean, I think she would have went through with the pregnancy, personally.
Sam?
Yeah, I think Sam would have went through this
I
pregnancy.
think Sam would have been like, girl, I'm getting this abortion now.
That's what I think.
I don't think I'm with you.
I don't think
TK.
she would
Yeah,
keep it.
I think out of all
But I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah, I
too.
think all the characters. If she was, and her, say if her and White Bay were together and they were comfortable,
For
and it
sure.
happened, and you know they could take care of it somewhat, I think she would have gone to it. But you know we don't know because you know we're not the writers. But I think out of everybody, you know, this was definitely, it seemed like more of a hard decision for her, and it did take you through those processes as far as, you know, deciding, you know, what she is going to do with it. And then the scene where she comes in and Kelsey comes in, walks in on her, and she's like, do you realize there's only two options? They either suck it out of my body or you take a pill and you do all this. It's just kind of like,
it really brings it to the forefront. Like Nate was saying, I think as a man, it's harder to identify with it for me. And as a people, I think a lot of times we decide in our heads how we feel on certain issues, but then you don't really look at them fully. And for me, my personal experience, I never had considered, like, I don't want to say being pro-abortion, but I had a conversation with my mother one time, and she told me that she had an abortion. And that really made me feel like, oh, wow, like, you can't place this judgment because people making decisions for their lives, and they had to determine that. So it was really good to see that.
yeah, because you see her speaking with her mom, and it seems like, you know, she based off the first season too, she kind of got into a good space, and she hangs out with like hangs out with the right people, but she
Careful.
not the right
Careful.
people. She got into a situation where it benefited her.
Yeah, she's
and
worked very hard to be where she is.
and her parents and her
Right.
mom is not necessarily in that situation.
Separately from like where her upbringing would have brought her.
Right.
So as she goes back home, it's just like, you know,
Fall
And there's
right
also
back
the thing
into
of
that.
of like the repeating the cycle thing because her mom, she said is the same thing, had her when she was young too, and we're assuming that that's part of the reason why her life progressed the way that it did.
Right.
So to have to choose whether or not you're going to repeat that cycle when you're so close to, like, you know, I don't know, but I'm assuming she's one of the few people in her family to graduate from
Yeah.
a
It
college,
like
especially a college prestigious as like Winchester is supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. You're so close, but also like it's a life, and there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot to think about.
So what do you think of her not telling Troy?
I think she should have told him, but also like timing is everything, and
Say your piece.
No, I think she should have. I mean, okay. In a situation like that, like, yes, tell Troy beforehand, but I think she also maybe didn't say it because she wasn't sure, but she could have said, yo, Troy, hey, I'm pregnant.
Well, she meant to tell
then I'm
him.
going to get an abortion.
Yeah, when she
So-
walked in that room.
she
Well,
meant to
yeah,
tell
why
him
she tell
until
him?
he
It just, but she
started
just
ripping the
didn't.
bong while she was talking.
And to be perfectly honest, I just realized that she didn't tell Troy because that when she told him, it was part of the dream sequence. So now I'm faced with like, that's tough.
That was the other interesting thing too, implying that
The dream.
in her dream, yeah, they would have gotten married just to get divorced again.
No, but
when
they
I
didn't-
read that,
Well, the daughter has the
because-
Well, I guess maybe they
No.
didn't because she has the. Is
They
that
were
what the
just
hyphen
together.
last
Yeah.
name was?
Well, it just seems like she had the baby, he helped to take care of him, and
Right.
he did his life, and she did her life.
Right, okay.
But it also
Yeah,
made
yeah.
it seem like she did mention that he was married to
He was
somebody
married to
else.
somebody else.
He was married to somebody else with another baby on the way, but
Right.
they didn't make any mention to her marrying somebody else, which is, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know how they do.
So
Black women. You can,
wow,
Come on
really?
now, no,
Is
I
that
was thinking
too-
the same
is
thing.
that too much?
No, it's not. It's
So what do you think? So did you have access to the whole script, or
Yeah,
Okay.
so I was gonna say, with the dream sequence stuff, when I read the script, I was like, it was the first script I read of the season, and I was like, oh wow, they're going into the future now. I actually thought
Yeah.
that they were flashing forward the future to all of these characters, and I was like, oh my god, she has the baby.
the costume design of that
Yeah.
sequence, like when they're in the
Yeah.
future, I'm like, these outfits are beautiful. Like I love. I'm like, I
Gorgeous.
can't wait to get into the future. Start
Yeah.
dressing like that.
But when I saw her have the kid in the future and all of that, I was like, I don't think that's the right decision for her in this moment. I felt that.
As a woman, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I felt it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know people have opinions, like you guys said, about abortions and all of that.
Yeah.
But in that moment in her life, right then and there, I was like, I don't think this is the right thing for her to do.
Yeah, and it did
So-
show her in.
So
the-
wait, to keep it or
To keep it, to keep
Yeah.
it.
It did show in the sequence like she was. It seemed like she was like a dean or something for the school.
Yeah.
for school.
Right.
Yeah, she's
Right.
still
Or
there.
something.
Yeah.
She's doing something, but it's like, is that your
But
dream?
was that really your dream?
Right.
Though? Yeah, that's how it
or
felt.
It's
Yeah.
a settling point because
So-
she decided to have a baby.
So are we? So do we think she should have told Troy, or she shouldn't have told Troy? What's
I
the
think
consensus?
okay.
I
The way that
don't
she
even-
told Troy is fine because there's nothing he can do about it anyway. I mean, like, okay, so she got the abortion. Like, too bad.
I don't know.
Sorry.
We have two guys on the panel. What do you guys think? Do you guys want to know? Like, would you be upset if you found out after the fact?
Yes.
We don't have to worry about that.
I'm about to say that's a situation that I won't have to extreme.
I'm like, it's like we keep asking him for his input,
But no, but I will tell you this, a quick little personal story. When I was in high school, I actually did have a girlfriend. She told me that she was pregnant. Come to find out, it was a lie.
No.
She made me tell my family. Like, it was a whole
Damn.
big thing. So I don't know. Like, I'm glad that I don't have to deal with it. But ultimately, I think it comes down to her. Maybe if Coco and Troy were together, then I would feel that
Yeah, it
she's
definitely
more-
depends on the
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah, but at this point, I mean,
He's so
he ain't
emotionally
doing
unavailable
nothing.
anyway. Like, girl.
I mean,
Like you said, timing is everything, though. Especially for their relationship right now and where it's at. It
Right.
was like,
But would it have brought him back to
I know.
reality?
Where he needs
I
to be.
know. Would it have been like an eye opener?
It's like,
for
okay,
him?
it's not. It's essentially the first part of the dream sequence was like, okay, it's not about me anymore. Like, I need to get his father's the dean, so it's not like
Yeah.
he's not in a good position to take care of the
Yeah.
kid. So, I mean, that might have been his life raft.
Right.
but she
Right.
might also not want to be tethered to him forever.
Hello, because
Like
children
that?
are forever.
Yeah. I mean, that's
They
all-
are.
No, kids don't go away. No, even after 18, they
No,
don't
they
go
don't.
away. So
And you can't. It's not a. You know, being in a situation currently where my parents, it blew my mind a couple weeks ago that they were in the same room together. It's that connection between parents is very important. So making that decision. In that way, I can almost even see her why she would choose not to tell him, because she wouldn't want to even like open that door for him of like, oh my God, this is a possibility. I gotta get my life together and stuff, and start to cling to her. But I don't know how she's feeling about him right now. I mean, she's angry, but I don't know if that's just a reaction to how he's acted and she really does care about him, like if he got his shit together, or if she's really just like completely
I think
over it.
she's over him, but she just still cares about him. Like, it's like she wants the best for him.
Yeah.
And she
You can't
realized,
both.
well, yeah, you can. Well, I think
can't.
when,
Not after you've been in a relationship with someone.
she was in a relationship with him, but she was also in a relationship for him as far as a step up. Then she realized that she could do it on her own.
Yeah.
So
Hey.
it's like, okay, I still care about this person. Like, I wish the best for you,
Yeah.
but you know, I'm doing me.
Right.
So I think that's where, because am I the wrong? Like in the first season, she got with him. Like on top of he was fine, and I think she said he ate the booty. He ate the booty.
Oh yeah.
Like high end groceries.
Right.
So
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
Whole
Yeah.
Foods. So he did
TM.
all that stuff. So on top of all that, you know.
You said TMI?
I said TM.
Oh.
Trademark.
So
Okay.
he did all of that stuff. So it's a benefit, but
Yeah.
she did that in order to get into, you know, a better position, and she did because she got close with the dean.
Yeah.
So, but let's talk about Coco being the white whisperer. So, you guys said you guys improv'd kind of some of those scenes, but what was the tone as far as, you know, putting that together? It's like, don't touch my hair and all those like type of things.
Justin, the creator of the show, who's wonderful, was just kind of like, say whatever you want, literally anything. And I was like, for me, I'm like, I literally don't know.
Where do I
I'm
start?
like so far, yeah. So it was important for me to talk with Antoinette about things that would be appropriate. But Justin's all about improv and being free, and he's incredible. So
That's very interesting to hear, given how tight these episodes are with dialogue and callbacks and things of that nature, to know that there's a lot of improv going on the set.
yeah,
That's very impressive.
Yeah, at least for my scenes. I don't know what the other characters are doing, but I got to have fun.
So, what was some of the stuff that you learned that you didn't know before Dear White People?
What was interesting when I first signed on to it, my very first day on set, season 1, Justin said, he said, I know the show is called Dear White People, but I don't want you to be what everyone thinks this dumb white girl is. He was like, you're a real person. He was like, don't play anything, just have this conversation. And I thought that was really interesting. Because it's not like they're trying to talk bad about white people.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just trying to enlighten everyone about what African Americans go through. So that was really cool. And I think just like going through the experience with everyone, like all these people on this show are just like the most incredible people in the world, and they believe so much in this show, which is why such a good product has come from it, because they're all like they genuinely love it. They're not just doing it for work and to be on a show and to make money. It's all about like the stories that they're telling and the impact that they're making, which I think is incredible. Yeah.
Since being on the show, have you had other white people approach you about questions about Black people?
No, I actually haven't. I feel like
I know somebody
people
might go,
don't
so what,
rem-
tell me, do Black people do this, that, and the other? Like, yeah.
I know, yeah, I actually have
Come on,
not
phone.
gotten that.
Now she will
You think
know.
as soon as he left the
Yeah,
set,
now I'm like,
You'll notice it from now on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So tell us, can you kind of tell us?
So do Black people really grease their scalps? Like, is
my
that
gosh.
real? Sorry, go ahead.
that must have been like, were you nervous?
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
Well,
I would have been like, even being a mixed, like not even if I was white, like even
Yeah.
being mixed, I would be nervous, like walking onto that set. And I mean, I guess if you read the script, did you get the script beforehand?
I did, yeah. And I
Okay.
actually knew Logan. I was on Hit the Floor with
Oh, cool.
Logan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, that show in itself is,
Yeah.
being around all of those people, I don't know. It was just like, I felt like the comfort of Logan knowing that she was going to be there.
Right.
Because you worked with her previously.
Because I had
so,
worked with her,
yeah.
so that kind of helped. But I definitely was nervous because I just wanted to make sure that I was doing what was right and
Right.
just making sure the story as a whole
Yeah,
was being
servicing the
told.
story.
And because I knew how important the story was, and I knew that it needed to be told. So
Yeah.
for me, it was just like, as long as I'm doing this justice and making an impact in your world and in all of our worlds, then I'm doing something right. But yeah, I was definitely a little nervous at first, just because I didn't know what to expect.
Oh yeah.
And now, as far as Coco and Muffy's relationship, do you think Coco, it's changed, meaning that Coco was definitely kind of the alpha in the relationship? Like Muffy was the alpha in the relationship, and now Coco's become the alpha, or was it always one-sided?
No, I think it's changed, definitely. And I think Muffy sees that and gets a little frustrated with that as the season goes on. You can kind of see where she stands with that friendship. Not to spoil anything.
Wow.
I think that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
given how they were still new to the school, and it made sense for Coco to be close to Muffy to kind of figure out the way
Just
things.
get to the,
Right,
they both
exactly.
just want to get to the top
Top.
all
Yeah.
the time. That's like Muffy's biggest goal, is to just be at the top, have the best stuff that she can, you know, flaunt her. Like she says something about her bag in the episode. It's like she wants everyone to know that she has money, she came from money, and she's going to be at the top of everything. Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Lionel. So, here we go. So Lionel, it's, I feel like this, so we just did episode 4 for you guys who are kind of, what the hell's going on. So we're doing episode 3. So I feel like Lionel's trying to discover himself in this episode, like as far as defining who he is. And it went into the stereotypes, I feel. Maybe you can kind of educate us as far as, oh, well, you should try this, or you should, it didn't, at the end of the episode, it felt like there's no stereotype, it's just who you are.
Yeah.
So, kind of tell us how you feel.
Okay. Well, now.
As our resident expert.
I know.
Right.
Please.
No, I agree. I mean, I was definitely looking forward to seeing Lionel and his character because I do identify with him. And outside of that, D-Ron, I really appreciate his talent and skill set as an actor. So
He's amazing.
yeah, so he's one of the characters that I go to. But watching the episode, I do feel that it was a bunch of stereotypes. Along the way, I was just like, oh my God, I'd be so happy when Lionel figures out who he is and know like how he maneuvers in the world. But at the same time, you have to realize that that is an experience that you have to go through as a gay man or whatever. You have to like learn your identity. My path was a little different. I went to HBCU, Norfolk State University, all black college, so I didn't have like people at the bar telling you, oh, no shade, but I'm not into black. Like, that's a little weird, but I hope that the more we see of Lionel, the more he can really like come into himself, because he was even playing towards some of those stereotypes when he got around the black party, and it was the shade and tea and slices, and then so I'm interested in seeing
he
like
messed
who
that
he
up
really
too.
is. Right.
He's not.
Loud and wrong. Lionel can't catch a break.
That
half the
killed me.
time.
I know, right? Like, he needs to find the balance, so
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I'm excited to see more of that, but it was definitely like it's trial and error. I can tell y'all that because I done a bunch of stuff. My hair was long. I had short hair. I did this. I had makeup outside of being on TV. Like, so you have to really experience it all to find out like who you are and how you maneuver.
I think he's beginning to figure out what he will and won't put up with. It took a while because he
It's
was
still
definitely
taking
like
a long time,
It
though.
is, it is, because he's just like a doormat, But I think he's finally. It also helps too that somebody else is finally interested in him in the same way, and they're both awkward and it's cute.
Oh, you're talking about the other guy.
Yeah, not Silvio.
No, get rid of him.
She's like, no.
He's so
I know.
And just in the show, right?
I don't know him in real life. I'm so sorry.
So they did say one thing in the dorm party. The F word is the same as the N word.
Oh, that's a tough one for me.
Yeah.
Because
you know what word I'm talking
the
about?
derogatory gay F word
Oh,
is
oh,
the same
oh.
as
The N word.
the N word. And I have a couple of friends that use the F word. I still am like, it still like cringes my skin. Like, I'm not completely comfortable with it. I get it. There are people in the community that feel that you take that ownership of it. It is similar to our or most people's experience of the N word, whether you like it or not. You can say it if you black, or that whole controversy. So
I know. I feel like I haven't heard that word in a very long time.
I think
in anything.
The F word.
I think
Yeah.
Because you don't play video games.
Okay.
I don't
No,
Wait,
for
what?
real. No,
I'm
the
just-
gaming word, the
Yeah.
chat. Oh,
It's just a lot of
Really?
kids, and kids are.
okay.
When
Kids are
I was
mean.
when I was young, I said the F word all the time because I didn't understand.
didn't
And
know
as
and we
I
grew up
got
in
older,
the, and we grew up in the
Right.
90s, and it was just something
Exactly,
that
and it was just-
it was something we had to
but
unlearn.
there are some
We didn't know
people that haven't unlearned it, that haven't grown out of it,
or it's
and
willful
it boggles
ignorance,
my
and they
mind.
don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's some people who I feel that now you're probably more hear it amongst gay people. I don't hear it a lot of
Well,
times. I
yeah.
don't get called it like walking down the street. So we do live in a different world that
We're
is
getting
more
there.
conscious
It's a
of
lot
it.
more accepting than it was
Yeah.
20 years ago.
But I think it's a word that is still hidden, just like with racism.
Yes,
something
it's one of
you
those-
don't know
it's-
who's using it. but they
exactly
could very well
until
be using
they're pissed off at you and they start screaming at you, and it's like, whoa.
The only way I look at it is in similarities is like as black people we have reclaimed the N word for ourselves, and for gay folks they can reclaim that word for themselves as well. But a straight person shouldn't be saying the F word to them, because then that's what it's homophobic.
But it's also the same way as though like you can say that all black people can say the N word, but there are some black people that don't want to hear it. They don't want to
Right.
be called
And
the
that's
N word.
fine, and that's up to
right.
them.
And
That's
it's
what
the
I'm
same
saying.
thing in the gay community, that there's some guys that call each other the F word all the time. There are other ones that don't want to hear it. I have a friend who used to work together, and the girls would call him bitch, and he was like, "Don't call me bitch.
Don't do that.
Bitch."
No, you can't do that with everybody.
Right, exactly.
But
Everybody
But
has.
it is up to that own group to just reclaim the word for themselves, should they choose to.
Of course.
But that's still problematic because it's hard to take ownership of a word. Even if you look at the N-word amongst black people, then you have black people who are okay with black people saying it, but are they okay with the mixed person saying it? And then are they okay with Latinos?
And also, black people will weaponize it against each other, and you'll get the soft A, but then as soon as someone is acting up, then you hit them with the hard R, and it's like, are we really reclaiming the word back if we're still using it as insults against our own people?
Yeah, if ultimately,
I mean,
sorry, I'm trying to describe it without dropping the N word,
I totally get it.
which I will do if I need to. Just
how you
throwing that out
if
there.
they test you.
down.
Right. But I think that's true because ultimately these words are still used as weapons.
Right.
In the end.
We
can
as
play
much
so
as
much.
we can say, that it's changed and we're reclaiming it and stuff. As soon as guy steals your wallet,
that.
And now, did you notice the housewife theme throughout the Lionel episode 3, where they were talking about like they were
naming the different cities and stuff.
Different cities, but also, he's like, "Oh, you're getting Kenya Moore on me." Did you notice that kind of theme throughout the episode?
Yeah.
And he's like, "I have no idea."
Lionel was not picking up on it. I'm like, come on, man.
But he doesn't watch the show, so
I'm good I wasn't the only one because I didn't get any of those references. Like, you and me both, Lionel.
Which is another, it feels like another stereotype in itself. It's like you're throwing in all this, so you're just assuming, okay, well, because he's gay, he has to watch the Housewives. He has to know at least a few of them, which is, definitely not the case. So it's what I love about this season is that they throw in all these little things that you literally have to watch this season twice.
A couple of times. Because it's so nuanced throughout the episode.
Yes.
And they do a good job of that.
Yeah, and then when you get to the end, you should rewatch it because there's stuff that you didn't see the first time around.
Yeah.
I might as well go ahead and watch the full.
Binge it and then watch it back.
That's what I did. I binge watch it and then I go and I watch it again and then I watch it.
Stay strong.
Look who's talking. You binged it last season.
And I'm holding out for this season.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you seen the whole season?
Yeah.
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 Just give it to me. And
All right, fine. I'll just watch it all.
I don't have the patience for.
No, me neither.
Yeah,
I'm like, if it's in
it's
front
so
of me, I'm
good,
gonna
too.
watch
Just
it.
for
I'm
the
like, I don't
sake
wanna
of
wait.
purity of discussion.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to.
But you guys have to chat about it week to week, so maybe that's different.
Yeah.
That's
But just
People are
watch it
counting
twice.
on us.
Watch it twice.
Yeah.
We need the views.
Yeah.
Don't you want a season 3?
Oh, there has to
Hey
be a
now.
season 3.
I can't even
Imagine them
question
not
that. Yeah.
taken over with like.
It's just weird how Netflix doesn't release like the numbers or anything for the shows, so you really have no idea until they just pick it up or cancel it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I can't imagine this. I can't imagine it not
It's
having
super
it there.
popular.
Yeah, I've seen it around a lot more places this season.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the billboards,
me
especially.
too.
Yeah, they've gotten so much attention.
I feel too that more Americans are like more accepting of the show.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like
Well-
people are tuning in for the conversations as opposed to last year when people were like, "Dear white people, what's this racist mess?" And even with us, and then the comments. I mean, the comments were trash. Like they were on fire, just hot garbage. So I like that too. That we're seeing a shift.
Some of the comments were good. Commenters, we appreciate you.
Okay, we're seeing a shift too that more people are accepting, and I really appreciate that because I think now we'll be able to reach people and get to them more.
Yeah.
Well, I also think too, Kanye kind of distracted a lot of the people who would have come after Dear White People and us.
so.
He took off that layer of the burdens. Oh boy, but yeah, I definitely noticed there's a difference. But the show is just so. I mean, even with
How
the
could
Coco.
you not tune in?
Yeah.
I know.
You just love it.
Well, if you strip away the color of it, like this is, I think Justin had said this in an interview. It's like people on college campuses experience this,
Right.
Yeah.
And then you add the cultural element, but all the baseline things we all experience that. As far as Lionel trying to find out,
even what Lionel went through in this episode, I can relate to that. Not with a guy, but with a female. I've had the same experience. A woman who is older than me and I thought was interested in me, but she's like, "No, I'm just being playful." And it's like,
older, how much older?
Yeah.
TK.
I mean, you brought it up.
Okay. Like, of course,
we don't
we in
need
your
to.
business.
You need to know like her social security number also.
No, just
No,
age.
just
her
Okay.
name,
Was she
just her
32?
Instagram.
She was like
Never mind, y'all. He's
5
stuttering.
years
Just
older
let it
than
go.
me.
Because
Okay?
now you made him nervous.
Damn.
He like,
No more personal stories from Nate.
yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't know I was in the hot seat over here.
Well, You said it.
Take my jacket off.
Okay.
So, what are your most memorable moments from filming Dear White People?
Oh man, probably just like being on set with everyone and like joking around. We always dance. Antoinette made like a little compilation video of all of us like dancing around, and mine's so awkward because I'm like, I don't really have a butt or anything, but I'm like twerking in this little like Muffy outfit, which is like partial suit with a turtleneck. It's pitiful. But yeah, we just always had so much fun, and I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any like funny stories or anything, but yeah, I think it was just a fun atmosphere to be around.
Just another day at
Always
work.
dancing, yeah, always having fun.
Did you guys ever find yourself like having conversations about these deep topics that you're covering? And
occasionally during lunch and stuff, yeah, especially with me because I am a white girl. Like these are topics that they all understand a lot more than I do, and so I really try to be open with them and just to like hear them out because it's, it blows my mind that this is even like a topic.
Right.
You know, this is even something that people go through. It completely baffles me, but.
It's good though to have your opinion there for them to hear, and also you to be there to hear them too.
So, was there any takeaways that you learned about Black folks or Black women that was like, oh, like I had no idea, either this was the case or they did their hair like this? Was there anything that you kind of took away? Was like, oh, okay, never knew that. Like for instance, my takeaway, like from working at TMZ, is that like there was a lot of white folks who don't use washcloths. That was my takeaway. It's like, oh my god, they don't use washcloths. Like
The washcloth.
yeah.
Oh wait, I remember that. And then Troy says
back
he
on
uses
this
a
again.
loop.
Yes. I'm just giving.
I'll have you know I use a washcloth all week.
Thank you.
Okay.
I was gonna ask
you
that.
an example.
Am I
didn't.
am
I
I
don't
looking
think I
any
put that
blacker?
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was there anything that was like, oh, okay, I had no idea that was the thing. Why? I'm still.
No, that would actually be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I'm thinking of like the grits thing. I'm from Alabama, so like I love me anything
So you know some
fried.
grits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you put in your grits?
Well, that's the thing is I don't put sugar. I do.
Me
Do you do
neither.
salt and
I do
pepper?
cheese, butter, and salt. So
Like
Yeah.
regular people. Okay.
Is that
I was
normal?
gonna say, I
No,
think
it
so
is.
too.
Grits
I'm
should
from
be
Virginia,
savory.
and
Yeah,
that's how
you don't
I
put
do my
sugar in
grits. I don't do
grits.
sugar.
That was interesting. Yeah,
Thank
because I've
you.
never had sugar in them. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to think. I feel like there's so much I actually did learn. But I grew up at a very my high school was like 50% African American, 50% white, and I was on a dance team with all African Americans and myself and one other white girl. So just being around, they were my best friends. Like that's what I grew up around. So I feel like, and we would stay together when we would go to competitions, and they were literally my sisters. So I feel like I learned all of that at that time, all of the things that Dear White People talks about, but I think it's important for like the rest of America to figure it out, especially
There's
in
a lot
Alabama.
of people who don't have that experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of just like fearing what you don't know, not even for any reason other than you just have no
Exactly.
experience with it.
Yeah. It's interesting.
We're fortunate out here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, we live in a bubble out here in LA.
Yeah, LA is a
Yeah,
different.
but it's a nice liberal bubble.
I know.
Yeah.
I
I'm
like
okay
it.
with that.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I guess.
Yeah. For the most
I
part.
have a different experience.
What's your experience? You could do it quickly.
We don't have time. No, we don't. We have 1 minute and 23 seconds.
All right. Well, what else? Is there any other projects that you're working on?
Yeah, I just did a movie called The Delta Girl. Actually, it is set in 1964 during the Civil Rights Movement.
Oh, wow.
And set in Mississippi. My character actually runs away with an African American.
Oh, wow.
So it's a kind of like follows what happens after that and how people respond to that, because at that time, obviously, and
So,
probably still in this time.
Your character is on the run with a black man?
Yep.
Oh.
Interesting.
Gotta see this movie.
I bet.
Is there anything else that you're going to
What? It sounds good. That's scary. In the 60s?
Right.
Running around with a white woman?
No, it's, yeah.
Everywhere they go.
Pretty
Ma'am, is he
insane.
hurting you?
I loved it, though, because...
Did you shoot on location?
No, we shot in L.A.
Oh, wow.
We, well,
Okay.
like, way past Santa Clarita and these woods.
I was about to ask, like,
but-
where in LA? But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, though.
And when's that projected to be out?
We're gonna premiere at the Mississippi Museum of Art in the summer at some time.
Okay.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's really exciting.
And now, any other projects you're working on?
I'm gonna do a movie with the director of that film, another one with her in the fall, and then I did a movie based on a book called Matchmaker's Playbook, where we have a sequel, which I'll be working on at the end of the year.
Nice.
Now,
Just random stuff.
I'm going to give you two options. You weren't here last season, so I'll give, like we did a segment called Dear White People at the end of the show. Ivanna, you down for it?
Yes.
Okay. So she's like, what's going on?
What?
So we're going to do something called Dear White People. We each say something, then we move on. So do you have something to say to white folks? This is your time. So just, don't,
Pick me last.
It's a lot of power.
You'll go last. So.
I'm not ready yet. I'm sorry. Skip, and we'll come back. I messed up the rotation. I'm sorry.
Keith, you have something?
Dear white people, black people know how to enjoy themselves amongst each other. There's no need to call the police.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dear white people. Dear white people, just let us be. Let us have fun. Yes.
All right, dear white people, please don't make remixes of Donald Glover's "This Is America."
Yes.
It's not for you.
Yes.
Because you will always F it up. Come on, TK.
Do you have it?
Dear white people, watch this show and stop separating any ethnicity or anyone.
All right. Okay.
Support that.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you stole my one. You stole my one about.
That was
You're too
perfect.
slow.
So on time.
Oh, Nicole.
You say you too slow.
Wow, dear white people. We'll piggyback off the whole Lionel thing. Stereotypes. It comes from somewhere. However, you don't have to apply that to everybody. That makes sense. Like,
We're not a monolith.
there you go.
Yeah.
Dear white people. We're not mama.
Perfect.
That feels good.
Yeah, it feels. All right. Tony and
We
Boo-
gained a level.
I
Okay.
think that.
Check in next week
That's
for our
what
next
that sound
level.
means.
Where can people find you?
I live in I'm kidding. My Instagram and I don't know. I use Instagram. It's at Kate Carve, just like half my first name, half my last name.
Okay. Miss Ivanna?
Oh, hi. You all can find me on Twitter at Ivanna L. Williams and on Instagram at Ivanna.Williams.
Alrighty, I'm Keith Andre. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Keith_Andre.
What's up, nerds? Nate Miller here. You can find me on all social media at DogLikeNate. I have a catchphrase. I gotta be consistent.
Yes, Brandon.
See? Keith gets it.
Oh boy.
You gotta be supportive.
Shout out to Trinity Boy 27. He said, "Dear white people, AKAs are not all stuck up." So that's a little FY. That's from our live chatters. So
Thank you.
other than that, you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Also talking smack on TMZ every day. But we will come back next week. As far as dividing up the episodes, I am on the lower end of the totem pole, so we'll just see what happens. But we should all be here next week. This is going to be our usual, folks. We're good to go. Oh, and then also, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
Yes.
so much for hopping on the show and playing our little game.
We did it.
We'll see you
I
guys.
wish I had more time to actually think about the Dear White People
Yeah,
game.
it's all good.
No problem. All right, we will see y'all next week. Ciao.
Later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.